welcome back to On the Nose. And once again, I'm joined by Thad Taylor. Thad, I'm surprised to see you here.
I'm surprised the lights are still on, Paul. Get the world's smallest violins out, people. TAB had a very ordinary day on Saturday. I'm sure there'll be a lot of people watching. They'll be devastated, absolutely devastated to hear that. The TAB had a bath. We'll go into greater detail as we get through this next 20, 25 minutes. But, a losing day at both venues for the TAB. Plenty of favourites, plenty of people making some money one way or another. So, look, I've fronted Paul like I always do, but we'll get to the nitty-gritty shortly. Losing day for the TAB. Stay tuned for all the gory details.
Yeah, good on you, punters. Let's start with Te Aroha up north. What was it? It was an 8-race meeting there at Te Aroha. Race 1 was for the 3-year-olds, over 1,400 metres. And, well, it was a small field.
Yeah, funny little race.
Were there a couple of stablemates battling it out for favouritism there?
Oh, no. This was the one where this is where Class was taking on Ballon d'Or, Class for Te Akau, Ballon d'Or for the Mackays there in running well in sort of 3-year-old racing. And it was just turned into a really funny race with the scratchings, 4 horses. Look at all the money. We opened Class pretty short. And then all the money came for Ballon d'Or. I mean, Ballon d'Or went from $4.50 after scratchings into $1.60. And Class, who was relatively well backed at $2, got all the way out from $2 to $3.60, and which meant that Class was a small win plus 10,000. Funny way to start the day. Ballon d'Or was all the rage. There was a head away, so they are the only two they wanted. Filly Giza Look as a horse for Stephen Marsh. It's always well supported. That was the third run in the race. It did shorten. If it finds a more suitable race, it probably will win one this prep with the money we're seeing for it, which we always do for Filly Giza Look, but Class, an unusually large drift on Class, which meant that it was a plus $10,000 result race 1 at Te Aroha.
Wow, well, so looking like a good start.
Yeah, we're off to a roiler.
Race 2, it was a rating 65 over the 1,400 metres, and Warren Kennedy and the Weapon get home for the O'Sullivan Scott team. Usually not a good combo for the TAB.
No, it wasn't on this occasion either. I can tell you, we opened Boss and I Heels favourite in this race, Paul. Our plus $10,000 in race 1 was quickly eaten up in race 2 by the Weapon, 550 into 280, minus 75,000. The marketplace was very good here. Katashi, who was 1 from 1, was $8 into $6.50 and ran a heck of a race to push the Weapon right to the line. So there was money there. And Butterfield, actually a little bit unlucky, just a fraction unlucky up the rail. Butterfield was 21 into 850, competes in all these sort of good or reasonable 75s at Ellerslie and the like. So I can understand why there's a little bit of money on there. Butterfield on his day can run a race. He was 21 into $8, and Boston Hills was a little bit easy and ran third. So minus 75,000, race 2 of the day. The Weapon, O'Sullivan Scott, 550, second or third favourite in the race, into $2.80 favourite at the close.
Race 3 was it was a maiden race over the 1,150 metres, and a favourite, Mellister, gets home. More bad news for you, I guess.
Yeah, relatively. They did like Love Symbol, 440 into $3.10, which they started joint favourites in the race. And then even though Mellister was favourite all the way and remained joint favourite at the close, it was a small win of around 10,000 because Love Symbol was minus 70,000. Now, horse called Compulsory would be one to keep an eye on here. Former Hong Kong galloper with the Carters. Look, there was no money for it, and that's a little bit unusual for a horse. If the Carters or the Carter team are confident, you'll tend to see a push for their runners, which we didn't see. But then the marketplace late did gravitate to it. We settled back last and ran a heck of a race down the outside, did Compulsory. Suggest that'll be winning at short notice. And if the money goes on as well, I'd get doubly confident around Compulsory. So he loves
one to keep an eye out for.
Yeah, I think so, Paulie. It's just, obviously they've got a bit of a reputation. The money wasn't there, and it ran a very good race. If the money is there, as I say, I'd get pretty confident around Compulsory. Love Symbol was the worst way, minus 70, which meant Mellister, the big boy Mellister. He looks with a bit of scope about him. He was just a small win around plus 10.
Race 4, it was a rating 75 over 2,200 metres, and Livid Sky with Warren Kennedy aboard gets home.
Yeah, funny race. Giacomo led them up, as it likes to do, and then old Jazz Fawcett put the anchors on and well and truly put the anchors on about 1,000 metres out. And Warren Kennedy said, well, I'm not having any of this, and took off on the eventual winner in Livid Sky, which put some real sting into the race. Look, I think Giacomo, if she could have it back, Jazz, she might have just continued to keep that lead and not allow Warren to come round. I don't think she wanted to get into a speed duel, but just going so slow meant Livid Sky something had to move if you had some nous around it, and Warren Kennedy's good enough to realise that. King of the North was very well backed, had a good run, 370 into 330. He was minus 70,000. He was the worst way for the TAB. Giacomo, 350 up to 440, I should say. Has to be perfect. No money at all for the James Wellwood runner. That was $4 out to $7.50. Livid Sky was actually the TAB hot horse in the race. $7.50 we opened into $4.40. A small win, just due to the fact that the King of the North was so well backed, but the marketplace got it right late with Livid Sky.
Race 5, another small field. It was a 1,400 metre race for the Rating 75ers, and Warren Kennedy, here we go.
Yeah, one of the better, stronger moves of the day. Livid Sky was a very strong move, but so was this. We opened Perfect Dividends, a 270 favourite in the race. We opened first 5 out there at 370. Bookies obviously didn't watch the last run. First 5 started favourite into 245. Sorry, no, it didn't start favourite actually. No. Perfect Dividends rallied in to start at 210, but first 5 was 370 into 245. So they literally had it down to 2 runners in the race, and they duly quinelled. So that meant that first 5, the move came early. It was a minus 15,000 for first 5. Miss Raquette was actually the worst result, but bookies were just continued to drift it. No money. I say no money in the marketplace. There was money with our customer base because it was drawn 1, Stephen Marsh, and had been running good, honest races, but was $4 out to $8. Miss Raquette. So marketplace got it bang on. Back 2 horses they quinelled. The bigger of the 2 moves. And the TAB hot horse was first 5, 370 into 260 minus 15,000.
Race 6, and Stephen Marsh comes to the fore again with the former Karaka Million 2-year-old champion, Velocious. Boy, she looked very good doing it too.
Oh, isn't it great? Didn't you enjoy that?
Oh, lovely run.
Yeah.
You weren't worried?
No, well, no.
Well, she had to come from the back, but as soon as she started striding up, bye-bye, it was all done.
It was well and truly done. It was well done at the sort of 250, 300-metre mark for Velocious. Great to see. Everyone wanted to see it. Everyone wanted to be on. I wasn't surprised the marketplace took a bit of a set against her late. First up, she was going to get back. How tightly was she screwed down? We know she obviously has the class factor, but I wasn't surprised to see her $2 into $1.70 on the back of some scratchings out to $2.50 late. And she started joint favourite with Miss Bo Peep. Now, this is becoming a pattern, Miss Bo Peep. It was heavily backed at Mudda and faded out of it. And then Miss Bo Peep again just got a sort of attacked in the run. But again, it was the market mover that was going to run or be in front. Lahasa sort of just bothered it a little bit. And to be fair to Lahasa, it boxed on well for second. So our customers were more than happy to take the price around Velocious late. And then the market mover happened to be Little Bo Peep. But because she's a class mare, they want to be on. It's great to see her back. The win was fantastic. She was minus 65,000, Velocious. Congratulations to her and the team there for Marsh Racing.
Race 7, an open handicap over the 1,600 metres. We get a favourite beat here, Thad, so surely you make a little bit back.
We did make a little bit back. We were fortunate there was a bit of an early move. We call it sort of hard money, smart money around Electron, which meant it was 650 early into 5, and then just back to 650 late. With all the money for Moss and Vader and other O'Sullivan Scott Runover, I mean, we're seeing a theme here with them. They're well supported, and rightfully so with the way they're going. So it was minus 100,000, Moss and Vader, 360 into $3. Channel Surf was a decent move. It's not the first time that this horse has, has been well supported on a race. Channel Surf at 12 into $5. Uderzo was 9 into 7, the stablemate of Moss and Vader. And so all the action was down the bottom of the book there, which meant that Electron, even though it was 650 into 5, back to 650 with those moves I mentioned, was plus 40,000. And Chattahoochee, we were winning on Chattahoochee. Now, that is extremely unusual. I said on the broadcast on Saturday, if we're not losing 100,000 on Chattahoochee, I'd be very concerned about what's going to happen. No money Chattahoochee And, well, look, finished, what are we talking, 6th or 7th in the race. So ran as the marketplace expected. The market knew that it wasn't Chattahoochee's day, but usually it's heavily back. So that made me even doubly concerned. Plus 40, a small highlight on the day there for the TAB at Te Araha, Electron winning.
Yeah, you're coming back there.
You're back.
No. Race 8, last of the day. Oh, boy, oh, boy. Zomella gets home, a hot favourite there.
Yeah.
Look, I'm going to say a poor finish to the day for the bookies.
Correct. Yeah. We opened Monday Melody and Zomella close-ish in the market, and they didn't end up close. We were 290s Zomella, 310 Monday Melody, and funnily the initial move came for Monday Melody, which probably made it even worse. Initially, I think Monday Melody might have been favourite on Saturday morning, and Zomella's price sort of hadn't budged. And then that completely switched around. Monday Melody got back out well past its opening quote to $3.60 at the close. And Zomella went from that $2.90 into $1.85, minus 30,000 to finish the day. Monday Melody had support. It's an O'Sullivan Scott runner, which meant that the result wasn't a disaster, but certainly a significant move and a significant loss of minus 30. What a yarn for Chris Wood, led them up 26 into $11. Annie Oakley was 18 into 10. These are some long shot moves you might want to mark down, but Zomella, well found, well backed, good one.
Right. So overall at Te Aroha on Saturday?
Oh, yeah. Well, multis will be a different story. We can have a little 2-second chat about those at the end, and that'll be all I'll allow. But minus 115,000 at Te Aroha, a losing result with the likes of particularly Velocious, but Zomella, first 5 as well, and the weapon. They were the highlights for TAB customers, and they made hay there at Te Aroha, minus 115.
But not to worry, because we've got Trentham coming up.
Punters Graveyard.
Exactly.
Yeah, what could go wrong?
Right, let's have a look at it then. Race 1 was rain 65 over the 2,200 metres, and we get close to a double-digit winner here, Zachary, with Kate Hercock aboard.
Oh, things were tracking beautifully. Race 1, plus 40,000 Zachary, opened 550. I sort of back in grade a little bit. Zachary threatened to do this, but the marketplace was willing to sort of forego it, I suggest. Blackwater Foot getting close to a win. A little bit unlucky. Blackwater Foot, a little bit unlucky. That was the worst way, minus 80,000. 750 into $6 was Blackwater Foot. Transed was 10 into 7 for John Wheeler. That was a good enough run there for 4th. And Glorophilia boxed on well. It was another move, 12 into $10. So, yeah, the marketplace sort of identified a few and they went far away, but Zachary was plus 40,000. Going to script there at Trentham, it was 550 at $8.
Righto, race 2. And this is the race I was thinking about where the two stablemates were battling it out for favouritism. Super Photon and I'm All In, trained by Stephen Marsh. And in the end, Super Photon got home. Was it the better of the two stablemates? No, okay.
No, Paulie. Yeah, another situation where the customer base was right and the marketplace was wrong. And it was a little bit like that with Velocious, actually, which we mentioned at Te Aroha there. They loved Super Photon. The customers, they wanted to be on. We opened 260 Super Photon. We opened, I think, 260 I'm All In, so joint favourites, basically. And the market was gravitating towards Super Photon initially, and all the money was with it. I was on the radio in the morning saying there's 5 times more investment over Super Photon than I'm All In. And at that stage, Super Photon was like $2.40 and I'm All In was sort of sitting around that 260 still. And then they swapped round late in proceedings. The market pushed to I'm All In. Now, look, leader, horse, these are not unusual things to make the market move towards you, though. A horse that's going to race on the speed or lead, which the marketplace values, and also a horse that's got fitness, race day fitness against a horse that hasn't in Super Photon, and obviously had the wind operation and a few doubts around that. So you will see the marketplace value a few things. Racing on speed is a major part of it, particularly if they're seeing an early potential bias. So the marketplace moved to All In. We had to react, but our customers just kept lapping up the 280 on Super Photon. It was minus 60,000.
Race 3, it was a 1,400 metre race. Rating 65. $20 shot. Mafia Mama.
Wow.
You saved.
We are. We are. Yeah, we are. Yeah, when it was plus 30. The money was well spread in the race, to be fair. And Mafia Mama, had a little bit of support, but 14 out to 18 didn't give anything else a looking. And this might have exacerbated or, added to the front-running theory here on the day, because we've seen Mafia Mama do that, and we'll get to a couple of runners that move that have been on pace later in the card. But plus 30,000 Mafia Mama, massive prints, had its chance, 515 to 390. Transaction was disappointing.
Very disappointing.
Yeah, 515 to $4. Suggestions it wants a bit more sting out of the ground than it got. The stablemate of Transaction, Retro Star, had been racing in 3-year-old sort of listed in group races, was minus 60,000. So some money around Retro Star. If it gets to an easier race maybe, but there was money there. And 2 movers at odds here. Evelyn Rush for Cody Cole, 21 into $13. It was first up. It wasn't miles away, so maybe a one to watch. And French Doll was another one. Got right back. Got home strongly, 34 into 19. Finished around 5th. The front of French Doll was a one to keep an eye on. But Mafia Mama, plus 30. We're on track. We've righted the wrongs after Super Photon. We're well on track here at Trentham.
Rightio, race 4, rating 75 over 1,600 metres, and Takashi.
Yeah, Takashi, speed.
This is the start of the fall for you boys.
It was. Let's have a go. 1, 2, 3, 4 TAB hot horses in a row coming up, and it should have been 5. I just tossed the coin and pulled the wrong rein in the 5th leg, but we'll get to that. Look, speed mappers, one for the speed mappers here. Takeshi, 550 we opened. We opened Desert Mystic 370, no money out to 480, and there we go. No money for an O'Sullivan Scott runner. It was like no money for Chattahoochee, alarm bells potentially around Desert Mystic. The only thing that made this not a disastrous result was this move came very early in the trading week. I see Takeshi was favourite on Thursday night or Friday morning off a 550 quote when Desert Mystic was 370. So obviously had a bit of a reassessment here after some good, hard or smart money early. And the speed mappers got it right, talking about valuing leaders. Well, here was a leader that was in a race where there weren't any potentially, and it played out exactly like that. The first 2 around the corner were the first 2 home in Takeshi and Lanakai. No money for who knows. A talented stayer, and we opened pretty conservatively at $6.50 out to $13. No money, so watch out for who knows. It didn't run a bad race in fairness, so there'll be races for who knows coming up, you would think. And Cyclone was drawn to get a lovely suck run, so there was a bit of money for Cyclone late, as there was the start prior at Whanganui. It was 11 out to 18, back to 13, but one for the speed mappers, one for the people that value runners up on the speed, and Takeshi minus 20,000, 550 to 280.
At race 5, and it's down the chute, 1,200 metres for the rating 75s. And Tony Pike, Michael McNabb, never a good combination for you guys. Slipper Island gets home at around the $3.40 mark.
Yeah, and it just kept coming for Slipper Island too. We opened $4.60, just ahead of Party Rocking at $5.60. They ran, I think, the Quinella the last time they met at Trentham, when the last time they contested. And Slipper Islands just loves that TAB shoot over the 1,200. And it just kept coming, even though Party Rocking was meeting Slipper Island better off at the weights, probably a kg and a half, might have even been 2 kgs better off. The money can bless you, Paul.
Thank you. Yeah, well,
you put me off my stride. No, I wasn't.
I'll tell you what, the next few results will put you off your stride.
Yeah, exactly. No, they kept coming. Minus 90, 460 into 330. Party Rocking, $5 into 460. Was fair to say disappointing, but probably taken on up front. Maybe now people are starting to think we've got to be up on speed, and then they overdo it. And I don't know if there was a bias in fairness. I mean, Whiteack came from well back. Anyway, minus 90,000. Lantern Way resumed. 21 into $14. Bombed the start. Was always probably going to get back, but I say bombed it. Missed it by a couple anyway. Watch the replay. I mean, you'll see that. I'll tell you what, you'll see the replay a few times when they're talking about this horse, the form experts, because the run was very nice. So follow that money, 21 into 14 Lantern Way, but minus 90 Slipper Island, putting together a picket fence form line now.
Race 6 was a Group 3 over the 2,100 metres for the 3-year-olds, and Kiwi Skyhawk gets home, who had been racing against some very, very good opposition prior to this. And boy, oh boy, there's another hot horse getting home.
Yeah, another hot horse deserving. Look, and what made it worse was probably nothing back to seriously beat it or challenge it. I think nearly everything drifted it. The Southerner had a bit of a bite there. Freddie Time was 14 into 950. But way out west for Andrew Forsman was 550 out to 9. Shockabella got the blows. Did come trim up a little bit late, but got as high as $13 off an opening quote of 850. And then really nothing else to speak of. So, look, Kiwi Skyhawk, $2 into $1.85. Potentially could have been shorter. I guess the only thing that stopped it from being incredibly short was it was going to get back a little bit and have to do some bit of donkey work at some point. But minus 120,000, a well-deserved win for Kiwi Skyhawk.
Race 7 was the Group 2 Awapuni Gold Cup over the 2,100 metres, and O'Sullivan Scott kind of gets home in Waitak. And tell me there was money on.
Yeah, there was plenty on. Don't worry. There was plenty on. This is an interesting race in the fact that a lot of people suggest we opened Whangaihu favourite. A lot of people suggesting that Whangaihu should have started favourite in the race. It just never happened. Never the turnaround never came for Whangaihu. And Waitak was early. The move came early, 370 into around 330. And Whangaihu was 330 out to 360. So almost on the Thursday daytime, Waitak was favoured, and everyone was thinking, Whangaihu brings the weight for age form, Whangaihu this, Whangaihu that. I wouldn't be surprised if Whangaihu starts favourite. Didn't happen. 370 into 270. Whangaihu 330 out to 360. Waitak, because again, we got a bit of a heads up. It was only minus 30,000. But these multis are starting to mount up, Paulie. I can just sort of feel it. All of was 21 into $12. Ran okay, ran fairly. There was a bit of money there, but it was all about the top two here. Waitak 370 to 270, minus 30,000. Good to see him go back to back.
I'm guessing that a number of those multis would have been flowing into La Dorada in the Courtesy Ford Manawa 2 size produce over the 1,400 metres, and La Dorada delivered as she has done.
Yeah, it was. The marketplace was giving a few a chance late against it. And we, again...
Well, I'm guessing there are a few people who are just covering themselves.
Yeah, maybe, because we opened La Dorada 340, bang into 240, and this is again early on in proceedings. And then it's sort of, at that price, it just got a little bit quiet. And then when the move came for War Princess, who was 10 into $6.50, unbeaten, racing on the speed. This is the marketplace valuing leaders again, potentially $10 into $6.50. And then the stablemate, Hostility, who we had a chat about on Friday on the leg up, being one of the most interesting runners in terms of a market sort of to price, or what price it should be. Well, the money came $9.50 into $5. Meant La Dorada got out to 340, but that stage, favourite backers were sort of on a bit of a roll as well. And even though we had to drift La Dorada to $3.40, is La Dorada soft? Well, our customers keep saying, we'll just take the Te Akau favourite here. We'll take the Te Akau favourite here. Minus 100,000. Hostility ran well, $9.50 into $5. And look, War Princess faded out off the front, but there was a push there. She's a talented filly. Maybe the 1,200 to go, War Princess.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, I know you're a fan. It may be the case.
At this stage of her career, maybe that is.
Yeah. Anyway, she was dominant, to be fair, La Dorada. Gave nothing else really a chance. Great ride, Michael McNabb. In line potentially for a Lance O'Sullivan Award, although he's won too many, so hopefully we can find someone else. 340 into 240, back to 340, but our customers said, yes, please, minus 100,000.
Final race of the day. Okay. Do you get out of jail a wee bit here with the $9 shot? Dr. Ascar, trained by Joanne Moss, getting home.
Tipped on top by one Paul Moari, I believe, in the race. 12 into 7. Surely the market wasn't reacting to your tip, but
drifting.
Well, marketplace got this. I say almost spot on. I mean, Glamour Tycoon was the big go. Once Platinum Attack came out, 550 into 215. That happened really late. 550 into about 4. It was Glamour Tycoon. Then the bottom fell out of the price in the last 10 minutes into 215. But the only two other horses that shortened were December 8 into 6 and Dr. Ascar 12 into 7. But because of the money for Glamour Tycoon, December and others, Dr. Ascar was plus 30. A small light
there.
a small bit of light on an otherwise dark day.
So overall, tell us about that dark day at Trentham.
Okay, that was minus 320,000 at Trentham. Super Photon, Takeshi, Slipper Island, 90, Kiwi Skyhawk Big, 120, Waitak's a losing result, and La Dorada was another 100,000, minus 320,000. So we're talking close to 450,000. This is just in the singles We just talk about the win markets, fixed odds win markets, close to 450,000 at both venues. So losing day at both venues, and Trent the minus 320,000.
So we're not even talking multis.
Shall we talk multis?
Yeah, let's do that.
It wasn't good. How much?
Okay.
Multi punters had to fill up. To be fair, let's be perfectly honest with those results. Slipper Island, Kiwi Skyhawk, Lada Rada, Waitac, Velocious, first five to a degree, Zormella, the Weapon, and then the final, the coup de grace, as they say, was the slap in the face that Alabama Lass gave us at Flemington there.
Oh, lovely.
Exactly. Getting a lot of people home with their multi-bet. So, look, the TAB on average sort of pays out $100,000 in multi dividends every Saturday for our customers. Paid out $1 million in multi dividends on Saturday to the TAB, so 10 times the normal payout rate on multi. So, yep, it was a great day for favourite backers. It was a great day for sort of hot horses and the like, and the moves were on song. Trentham was playing beautifully, and customers made hay well and truly.
Well done. Well done. If you had a successful bet on the weekend, well done to you. You were one of many. Good to see.
No, hey, congratulations. And I say this genuinely. I mean, you've got to win sometimes, or what's the point, and we don't sit here, it's nice to be able to sit here and say that customers have won, because it does happen. And if the results fall the wrong way, our customers win. And they won on Saturday, as I say, 450,000 in the singles. We paid out $1 million in multis. So, it was a winning day for customers. So congratulations if you had a decent day and there's a bit of money in your account.
Beauty. We'll wrap it up then, Thad, on that note. And we'll be back next week. Well, hopefully you'll be back.
Hopefully, yeah. We'll have to chat to the boss.
Yeah, make a few dollars during the week, and I'm sure we can sort something out for you. But yes, hopefully you had a win. And if you did, congratulations. And if you didn't, I look forward to your next winning bet. We'll be back next week on the nose.